Do not adjust your screen, and don't assume this is just another loud trading day, because what you are watching right now is the sound of a market-breaking character. Silver did not slowly climb, did not grind higher, and it did not follow the polite rules that people are taught markets are supposed to follow. It teleported. In a single session, silver moved in a way that usually takes months. And that alone should force you to pause, because normal markets do not behave like this. An 8% move in a mature global commodity is not enthusiasm, it is not optimism, and it is definitely not retail hype. It is stress. It is pressure escaping. For weeks, the silver price in the West was pretending that everything was fine, trading as if supply was abundant, and confidence was intact, while quietly falling further and further behind the rest of the world. That gap was not harmless. It was stored energy. And today, that energy released all at once. While New York traders were celebrating prices near the high 70s, Shanghai was already trading silver closer to the mid-80s, flashing a warning signal that could no longer be ignored. This is where the story changes, because markets don't like being embarrassed and they hate being wrong in public. When a global price gap opens and refuses to close quietly, it doesn't resolve itself gently. It snaps. What you are seeing is not a rally chasing headlines. It is a market scrambling to catch reality. Sellers vanished, liquidity dried up, and buyers walked into an empty room. That is why the price didn't climb step by step. It skipped entire levels looking for someone, anyone, willing to part with real metal. This isn't about charts or opinions anymore. It's about physics. When the physical buffer disappears, price becomes the shock absorber. And that's why today matters. Because once a market shows you it can move like this, it tells you something uncomfortable. The old assumptions no longer apply. The suppression mechanisms are cracking, and what looked expensive yesterday may end up being remembered as cheap far sooner than most people are emotionally prepared for. Not what people think happened. This was not a normal breakout driven by optimism or news headlines. This was a structural event. When silver jumped violently, it exposed something that had been hidden in plain sight for weeks. The Western paper price was lagging far behind the real global clearing price. Shanghai wasn't reacting to New York. New York was reacting to Shanghai. That inversion matters because it tells you where price discovery is happening. In a healthy market, liquidity is deep, sellers are present, and price moves are absorbed smoothly. What we saw instead was a vacuum. The usual sellers, primarily bullion banks and large paper shorts, stepped aside because selling at Western prices meant handing risk-free profit to anyone arbitraging metal eastward. When those sell walls disappeared, buyers didn't climb a ladder, they jumped a canyon. This kind of movement only happens when the float is gone, when available ounces for immediate delivery are scarce, and when paper promises lose credibility against physical demand. The market didn't go crazy. It went honest, briefly, and that honesty was violent. The gap between Shanghai and New York is not just a number on a screen, it is a mechanical force. Every dollar of difference creates incentive. When that spread widens to $5, $7, or even $10, algorithms, traders, and physical buyers don't debate sentiment, they execute. They buy where silver is cheap and sell or deliver where it is expensive. But here's the problem. That system assumes metal is freely available. When inventories are tight, arbitrage doesn't equalize price smoothly, it rips it higher. Every contract bought to close the gap pulls on a chain that leads back to physical metal that may not exist in sufficient quantity. That's why the price didn't stop where people expected. The magnet wasn't New York resistance levels, it was Shanghai reality. As long as that premium exists, it exerts upward pressure. And today proved that pressure is no longer theoretical. Silver has been capped by large, concentrated short positions that relied on liquidity, margin rules, and confidence to survive. But squeezes don't begin when prices rise. They begin when sellers refuse to sell. When banks pull offers to avoid arbitrage losses, shorts lose their primary defense. Rising prices force margin calls force buying, and forced buying in a thin market creates vertical candles. This isn't retail chasing silver. This is institutional positioning being unwound under stress. The speed of the move tells you the shorts were not prepared, and the lack of resistance tells you they didn't have cover. Once that process starts, it feeds on itself. Price rises don't calm the market, they destabilize it further, because every uptick increases risk for anyone still betting against physical reality. Premiums are no longer a side note, they are the signal. When physical premiums rise alongside spot, it confirms that demand is not speculative, it is urgent. Industrial buyers don't wait for pullbacks when supply chains are at risk. Sovereign buyers don't care about RSI when strategic metals are involved. The shrinking inventories at exchanges, the widening lease rates, and the persistent Asian premiums all point to the same conclusion. Silver is transitioning from a surplus assumed market to a scarcity priced market. That transition is never smooth. It is marked by gaps, halts, and disbelief. Today's move was not the end of that process. It was the announcement. Looking forward, this is where perspective matters. A market that can move 8% in a day without news can move far more when news actually hits. Volatility is not a warning sign here, it is a consequence. The era of cheap silver was built on excess inventory, paper confidence, and complacency about supply. Those pillars are cracking at the same time. Whether price pauses, consolidates, or overshoots in the short term misses the larger point. Silver has re entered price discovery, and once that process begins, it doesn't ask permission, it doesn't move politely, and it doesn't wait for consensus. The move you saw today wasn't panic, it was the market realizing all at once that the world has been underpricing a critical metal, and repricing rarely happens slowly.
Hello friend, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope all if you are doing great and having an amazing day. My name is Noor Baqi and I am really excited to start this new journey with all if you. You know this channel is not just about videos, it is about story and ideas and inspiration. I created this channel to sharing something positive every signal week. Sometimes we all need little motivation, and sometimes we just need a good story to smile again. Decide exactly what this channel is all about. You find understanding stories, real life experience, and powerful lessons that again change the way you think. I be uploading new videos regularly. So if you don't want to miss any of them, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and press this bell icon so you get notification when you post something new. You support means everything to me, and to great we can build a community full of partnership, learning, and good vibes. So sit back, relax, and let us begin this amazing journey together. Thank you so much for watching and welcome once again.